1868 March. We're still in Edo. A few days after moving back into my childhood home from the Shinsengumi compounds.
ごちそうさん。おま、料理うまいにゃ。どれもうまかったぜよ。
It's my pleasure. I'm just happy you finished everything. I stood up from the table and started to gather the dishes by stacking them together when...
全はそこに置いときや。片付けは俺がしとくき。
What? But...
Come on, come on. 女の尻に敷かれる側は嫌いやないし。前に言うたろ。
Alright. I guess I can take you up on your offer then. Excuse me while I put our bedding then. Excuse me while I put out our bedding then. As I spun into my heel to exit from the room,
待ちや。
Sakamoto clutched my waist and drew me close to his chest. I froze, feeling my heart patter inside of my chest as he fixed his stare upon me. What's the matter? As futile as it sounds, I tried hiding my flustered cheeks from giving myself away, squeezing the words from out of my mouth timidly.
とりあえず、手を振り払われる場は嫌われちゃせんってことか。チックと安心したき。
I had somehow missed the point that Ryoma was trying to make, tilting my head in confusion.
単刀直入に聞くけんど、俺は一体いつまで我慢しちょったらええがかい。
Keep you waiting?
とぼけちゅうわけやないよにゃ。男と一つ屋根の下で寝起きするいうががどういうことかわからん年やないろ。
Well...
俺のことを何とも思うちゃせんがやったら、わざわざこうやって家に誘うたりはせんろうし。どっちぜよ。この先望みはあるがかないがか。俺はどうしたらええがな。強引にことに及ぶこともできんことはないけんど、おまん相手にはそうはしとうないき。
The fact you said, does he need to do a dance? My brain just jumps to birds immediately. Bird dances! Why? There was some merit to his argument. If it were anyone other than Ryoma, then I likely wouldn't have invited him to stay with me, much less eat a dinner I had spent hours making. But it was a sudden imposition, and he was pursuing me into making a decision.
新選組の奴らから俺の悪い噂をいろいろ聞かされた機会。俺としたら今こうやって目の前におる俺を見て判断してくれとしか言いようがないがやけんど。
That's not it at all. Besides, rumors are just hearsay, and I have no reason to judge you over things like that. It's just that, I'm not entirely sure if I feel comfortable with what you're offering. Please, don't take this the wrong way or anything, Ryoma, but... allowing myself to succumb to his charm, as effective as it was, felt like I was relinquishing a part of myself that I was uncomfortable giving. My feelings for him aside, I still liked the idea of maintaining a sense of mystery between us, and that wasn't going to change. Not tonight, at least. Ryoma thinned his eyes, carefully inspecting my reasoning as he slowly loosened his grip around my waist.
まあえい。19、20歳のガキでもないし、焦る必要はないか。わかった。 おまんの気持ちの整理がつくまで待っちゃるき。
Really?
うん。嫌がる女に手を出すらて趣味やないき。
A huge sense of relief washed over me. My biggest fear wasn't offending or upsetting him and pushing him away just because I had felt uncertain about something I didn't understand. Knowing that he could act in accordance with my wishes endeared me to him even more.
ま、今の時点で答えはもう分かりきっちゅう気もするけど。
I lifted my head up toward him and he pulled me in by the waist towards his soft, plump lips. They pressed against my forehead and warmth trickled throughout my entire body. It was a familiar sensation, one I could never forget. This is... Ryoma! Once more he had suddenly imposed himself upon me, this time in the form of a friendly kiss, but...
これはしてもかまんろ。初めてやないがやき。
It's not a matter of whether we've done it before or not.
あ、もしかして額やのうで唇の方が良かったかい？ほんならもう一回やり直そうか。
Do I have to keep on repeating myself? He ran his coarse, thick fingers through my hair, stroking them with a delicate touch.
その様子やったら近いうちに覚悟が決まりそうやね。ほんなら俺は善を片付けてくるき。
As he let me go, my heart pounded with the intensity of a galloping horse. Why is that so specific? He sauntered back to the dining table, stacking the dishes before heading towards the kitchen. Later that night, I had a fit of insomnia, replaying the words he told me before placing his warm lips in the middle of my forehead. My heart pined for him, but time would tell. Not the DLC, I said records of service. Time for Sakamoto. We need no romance. Let's do this. These two are very different up until the end. With choices, anyway. Go is your answer for the bad ending. So if I go with you, are you going to tell me how to reverse the effects of this serum?
もちろんだとも。可愛い娘に嘘など言うと思うかい？
Yes, I absolutely believe you would lie. He smiled warmly at me and he reminded me of how kind and loving he had always been to me. And you would save Sakamoto-san as well, right?
お前次第だよ。
Then I guess there was nothing to debate. I hesitantly reached my hands for his so that he could guide me. Just then...
おいおい、よりによってそんな見え見えの嘘に乗るんじゃねえよ。坂本みてえな嘘つきと長いこと関わってきたんだから。
That voice, it's... Hi! Hijikata-san! Sana-san! My goodness, all of you are here!
報道さん、先ほどの言葉、もう一度聞かせてもらいましょうか。
Boop. Skip. What should I do? Find a way to escape. There's no way I can stick around here. Just as Inuit-san had said, I must tell Hijikata-san about Yoda and Tosa's betrayal. My wrists were still snugly bound. There must be something I can use to cut the rope. Unfortunately, the kodachi on my hip had been taken from me, so I'll need to find something else. I recalled back to my Edo days when I had seen an exhibition on how to escape a tied knot. That is Awfully convenient. Father said that in extreme situations, one could maneuver their own joints to escape being tied. I think I remember how he told me to do it. Who knows if it would actually work, but there's no time to find another option. I tried my best to remain quiet and I yanked on my wrists. It was no easy task to move my wrists around, but this could be my only chance at the moment. I felt the rope wedge into my wrist, practically ripping the joint out of place, and it worked. I wanted so badly to cry out in pain, but I had to suck it up, taking deep, silent breaths, and I got the rest of my hands out of the rope. That was a relief. Okay, now to find a way out. I saw the door open and peeked into the hallway. No signs of Hakuoki anywhere. Now's my chance. But which way was the entrance? I gazed around at the row of doors along the hall.
おいお前、そこで何をしゆうがで。
Sakamoto came walking from down the hall.
おまんは殺すわけにはいかんち、中岡が言いよったはずやけんど。そんなに痛い目に遭わされたいがか。
Sakamoto grabbed me, turning me back to the room.
来い、部屋に戻るぞ。
I have absolutely no intention of going back with you to meet my father. Begging Sakamoto at this point seemed like a pointless endeavor, but I was desperate. So desperate I dropped to my hands and knees and bowed prostrate before him. Please, I beg of you, allow me to return to the Fushimi Magistrate. There's still so much for me to do. Inoue-san had entrusted me with a mission. Please. Sakamoto stared dauntingly above me, but then...
誰も行くなとは言うちゃせん。
We guess nuts to skip. Actually, never mind. Did my ears just play a trick on me? I felt like his voice had regained the warmth that I had been so familiar with. He lowered his voice to speak admonishingly towards me.
それに今、伏見奉行所に戻ったところで無だよ。と。
Oops. Wait, what? Suddenly my whole world had just sunk, and my chest felt heavy. Up in flames? I quivered as I imagined the thought, and Sakamoto closed his eyes and nodded. So what happened to the Shinsengumi men? What little hope I'd held on to yawn, was crushed, and I even lacked the strength to voice my concern. So not only had Inoue-san been murdered, but I may have lost the other warriors as well.
今回の戦で薩長軍が使いよった銃は俺が撃った銃やき。俺が殺したようなもんよ。
Sakamoto's words had flooded me with all of the traumatic things I'd borne witness to this week. But I was too tired to even cry. So I'd simply hung my head in defeat, hoping that the ground would be torn asunder to swallow me whole.
これ。
Skip button. Was it alright to trust him? I can't trust him is your answer. Do you really think we can trust him? The only other times I'd seen Shiranui were usually in tandem with Kazuma, and usually it was deliberate to interfere with the Shinsengumi.
少なくとも俺の敵やない。今だけは俺を信じや。
If you say so.
嫌われちまったもんだな。だが俺としてもお前を連中に引き渡したくねえ事情があるんだな。
In one masterful moment, Shiranui maneuvered his gun to kill each of the Furies with only one bullet.
考える時間はない。さっさと行くぜよ。
Sakamoto yelled out to me, fiercely grabbing my hand before we ran into the main street.
鉄砲隊、あいつらを撃ち殺せ。
From the distance, I heard Hakuoki barking orders. Shortly afterwards, the echo of gunshots firing ran out from the mansion. For some reason, however, the rapid gunfire had suddenly been cut short. As we were running, my body began to give as the bullet passed through my heart. I fell to the floor.
しっかりせえ。おい。
I became lightheaded, and even though Sakamoto was right next to me, his screams sounded faint. What was going on? What just happened? Sakamoto's voice almost right beside my ear. But his face, it was becoming blurry. Warm droplets fell softly on my cheeks. Only when it was too late had I realized that they were from Sakamoto-san's tears. I saw a flash of light and then total darkness. This Gatorade light thing, whatever I'm drinking, it's watermelon flavor and it tastes like watermelon with salt. Holy shit. Don't go is your first answer.
どうし
Stay and talk to Sakamoto. And we respond with, I can't trust him. So where does it
知ら
stop?
ぬい。そいつのことを頼む。新選組の奴らのところまで連れて行ってくれんろうか。
Ah. Come with me, Sakamoto-san.
俺はここでこいつらを食い止めてから行く。必ず追いつくき。先に行って待っちょってくれ。
No, I don't want to. If you're going to stay, so will I. I wanted to stay with him, but Shiranui yanked my arm, and he was far stronger than me. Of course, not even my own demon powers gave me any chance to resisting, and I was taken away.
ほら行くぜ嬢ちゃん。
Sakamoto-san, I'll be waiting for you, so please come back. As I screamed out, Sakamoto-san turned and grinned, winking at me before I turned back around. That was the last time I ever saw Sakamoto. Thanks to Shiranui's demon abilities, we had no difficulty jumping over the Tosa residence wall. From there, we had gotten onto the main road of Fushimi and headed straight for Osaka. Throughout the trip, I pleaded with Shiranui for us to either return back for Sakamoto or at least stop to let him catch up, all to no avail. Shiranui just pulled my hand, carrying me like I was a delivery package, until finally we made it all the way to Osaka Castle.
さてとここまで来ればまあ大丈夫か。坂本との約束だからお前の仲間のところまで届けてやったぜ。あとは好きにしな。
He brought me all the way here, discarding me like trash, which greatly upset me. My heart, however, was still in Fushimi. Sakamoto-san, I'll be fine, right? He will definitely come back, won't he? Shiranui gave a small sigh. He scratched his head lightly, and his answer sounded like an adult lecturing a child.
俺あいつは
Oops.
命がけで中岡を止めてるんじゃねえかな。
Go
俺
back
は
here.
優しい嘘なんてつけねえから正直に言うけどよ。あいつは命がけで中岡を止めてるんじゃねえかな。
What? That would mean Sakamoto-san will be... His words pierced through me like a hot dagger, and part of me wanted to deny it. Shiranui gazed at me peculiarly.
さて、俺は行くからな。アバよ。
By the time I looked up to see him leave, he had already disappeared like a blustery wind. What could I do now? Should I return to meet with the Shinsengumi? Or should I go the way I came to bring back Sakamoto-san? No, I couldn't really do either. I had already made up my mind. I need him to keep the promise he made me. I just have to wait for him here. So I anxiously awaited in Osaka for him to return. He made me a promise. He told me he'd be right behind me. So for him, I will wait. Even if I'm in a few days, or a few months, or years, or even decades, I will always wait for him. It's like the story of Hachi. Fucking kidding me.